All right, so welcome back to the channel. This time it did not take me, what, 5 years to make a new video. And yeah, first of all, I just wanted to thank everyone for the response that the last video got. It's quickly become one of my most watched videos, and I just wanted to thank everyone for liking and commenting and just watching the video and subscribing, because there's been like, what, 20 people that have subscribed, which is really cool. I don't really follow the statistics. I don't really care that much about it, but it's cool to see. So yeah, just wanted to thank everyone for that. I kind of wanted to just give back by making a video that has been requested to me in the past, and I think it can really help out, especially new people into the hobby, especially in the reenacting side of things, that really want to get things right. Because realistically speaking, when you start out reenacting, you will likely do it with an Airsoft replica, and not any Airsoft replica, an AEG, because not everyone can afford a deactivated M16, or not everyone can afford a real one sometimes, or not everyone can afford a gas blowback. So the next better option, I hope to God, is not the Denix. If you start with a Denix, you need help because they're terrible. But I'll get to that in a future video, although I'm not buying one. But yeah, you will likely start one of those because they're relatively affordable, and they look the part most of the time, except from receivers that are bad. But I'll get to that when we get to it. We're talking about buttstocks. And the issue with buttstocks is that the vast majority of those airsoft rifles would come with one of these buttstocks. Not this one. This is a real stock, but it is still the wrong stock. This one came with my M16. This is what we call an E-type buttstock, and it has a couple differences from the stocks that you will see used in Vietnam. For example, a fixed sling swivel, and most notably, basically a trapdoor in the buttstock. This would be adopted and produced after late 1971, with the revision of the M16A1, where they changed a bunch of things. Mainly the buttstock, really, which would allow GIs to store a cleaning kit inside of the buttstock. As said, this was, of course, again, adopted and manufactured in late 71, and I've not seen a single photo of GIs with one of these. If you want to use one for Vietnam and justify it by saying, oh my God, they adopted it in 71, so they must have had it, show me a photo and then I'll trust you. Don't use one of these. I will die on this hill. No, just if you have a photo, sure, show me. That isn't post-war, and isn't GI using one of these in Vietnam, and then I'll shut up. But until then, I will die on that hill. Now, the right stock would be this stock. This is the D stock, or the D-type stock. You will see moving sling swivel with a rolling pin holding the assembly in place. If I'm not mistaken, on the SEMA EMG ones that I don't want to talk about because the receiver is fucked up and the markings are kind of ugly, I think they didn't relocate, put the location of the sling swivel right. I think it was either too far back or too far forward. But I'll get to that when we get to it. And of course, does not have a trap door. And also, it is a bit rounder in profile. It must be noted that this is an early trapdoor buttstock because this surrounding area is rubber. It is not metal. But anyways, I digress. As said, this is good. This is not good. Now, the question is, how do you put this stock on an Airsoft replica? Because you don't have a buffer. Not on an AEG, at least. Not the run-of-the-mill ones. But there's a solution, actually. So, let me introduce you to the King Arms buffer assembly thingy. Normally, this comes as a kit. I'll put a photo of it somewhere of what you get in the kit. If you find them, they're usually like $40, and you will get a buffer, you will get a stock, you will get a lining for the stock, you will get a little piece that will hold the bottom part of the stock. That mine is missing, but I'll get to that when we get to it. A bunch of screws and all that. But the good thing is that, if you look at the back, this will fit on an AEG, and you still have somewhat of a bit of room if you want to modify a stock. I don't recommend it. Maybe if you want to modify it, get a Brownells one or a real one, but gives you the room to still store a battery in the buttstock. But yeah, these are more or less still relatively commonly available. I will look out for them because, again, you can fit a stock with one of these, and it is relatively easy to install. On that note, let me get all this shit out, and we're going to do a bit of DIY with one of my own airsoft replicas, the one that I actually started with, which is, well, other than the M60, which is my GMP custom XM177 E1 that I reworked a whole bunch with the short barrel, so I cannot put an XM148 on it. No seam line front side base, roll pin holding the sling swivel in place. Nice handguard, 6-hole handguard, no taper delta ring, correct dust cover, modified lower by me and a set of files to make it look like an XM16 E1 lower, which is what they should have. Chrome bolt, ignore the CR there, it was not quite good, or the CH, sorry. Correct rear sight if the camera wants to focus. And I painted over the stock to make it look like the anodized aluminum ones, because the vinyl coated ones came with the XM177 E2. But anyways, I digress. Let me try to take off the stock and show you how to put that on, even though it's, to be fair, pretty straightforward. Sorry if this part of the video gets a bit more guerrilla. I want to just try to make this in one take so I don't have to go back and forth with editing. I don't really like editing too much, if you haven't noticed, even though it can really add a lot to a video. Ooh, let me just get under here because maybe you can see it a bit better. Keep in mind, I'm doing this on an XM177, not because I intend to use it that way. I just don't have another AEG replica, and I think it's going to look horrible once I put it all together. But hey, you know, them's the breaks, I guess you could say. I will likely take it off once I finish the video. Again, this is just for educational purposes. And of course, there's no battery, there's no BBs, there's nothing in it. Now, we've taken the little cap at the back. And of course, let me put the screw somewhere that I won't lose it. And now we're going to need a relatively long hex screw to fit in the back of the buttstock. Now, this is likely going to be challenging, and it may take me about 4 hours to get right. It's just finding the screw. Don't tell me, oh, you could just look down the tube. You won't be able to see anything because you will have a screwdriver in front of the fucking light. So, yeah. And also try to ignore the fact that my buffer tube is not right, actually, because it's got 3 positions instead of 2. Ooh. But frankly, I don't really care too much. Okay. All right, fuck this. Let me get into a bit of a better position so I may actually be able to find the hole. There we go. Got it. Cool. Well, oh, fuck's sake. Let me do that again. Always when everything went so well, something has to go wrong. And of course, I'm filming on a Monday, so what the fuck am I expecting? Things to go well on a Monday? No, sir. Okay, cool. Well, now I got it. So we're just gonna start undoing the back of the stock. As you can see already, it is really, really loose. And it should come out any minute now. Oh boy, let me get into a better position so I'll be able to just undo this a bit quicker. There we go. Okay, so the buffer is off. Thankfully, because that was a pain in the ass. Now, we'll also have to take off this little piece, because of course, if not, it won't really fit with the stock. And as you will notice, the back of the receiver, you got the same little cutouts and shape as the back of the fake buffer. And as you can see, it fits just fine. So now let me do the opposite, and I'm going to get a screw that came with the kit and just try to just introduce it back there. There you go. This is going to be a hell of a lot easier to install because I'm not trying to screw something in the dark. So let me get my screwdriver and just do that. Granted, it is not the most convenient because you still got the rear part getting in the way a little bit. But for the sake of this video, it will work. So there you go. You've installed your buffer tube. Now, as I said, I was missing a piece. That piece is meant to go in here. I'll add the photo of the missing piece that I need whenever I do the editing. That piece is meant to hold this little knob in place, because if you just put the stock like this, it's gonna wobble like crazy. Also, keep in mind, I did put a bunch of tape in there ages ago just to stop wobbling. So let me just tighten it. There we go. So, stock is now on, but that's what I mean. So, what did I do? Like the cheap cunt that I am, I literally just stuffed the hole with tape and really just crushed the stock on it to the point where it literally just makes a mold and it will perfectly fit in there. If I can actually get it to just fit for this video without making it look like shit and very scuffed, which admittedly it kind of is. There's not the cleanest method, but you should have that part. I don't know why mine didn't come with it, but anyways. And now what you can just do is get your stock. You can just go out, tighten it as best as you can, and then you will get your rear screw, and it's as simple as just going out and screwing it on. Oh boy. I don't know, it's an oddly long screw to actually screw in. Feels like it's gonna take about, I don't know, 8 years for it to go in. Keep in mind, you won't be able to use an original screw with this buttstock. It is thinner than a real one. So, just putting it out there for anyone that was like, oh yeah, I wanna use an original screw. Well, it won't fit. Also, keep in mind, I'm screwing this thing with my left hand, and I'm a righty. So, excuse any slowness from my side. Cool. For the purpose of the video, that does it. And yeah, as you can see, fits just fine. It is solid, does not move whatsoever, and it looks absolutely fucking cursed. But yeah, that's how you fit an AEG a real buttstock on an AEG rifle. Now, if you want to rear wire it, that's going to need a bit of extra work. You will likely have to potentially cut out the bottom of the buffer to get the cabling through. You may even have to cut into the stock. Hopefully not. There should be a way for you to wire those cables through that buffer into that little hole that you have inside. But that means you will have to take the stock off every time you want to change the batteries, but it's better than massacring an original one. If you want to cut inside a stock, buy a Brownells ones. They're not particularly expensive, and they look fine-ish. Maybe add some gloss to it, but otherwise, yeah, that's the trick. My XM177 is front wired, so to me, it makes no difference. But yeah, that's it. That's the video. A bit of a shorter one compared to what I usually tend to make. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any requests, anything that you would like to see, any specific video ideas, I'm all ears. I'm frankly a very unoriginal person, and I kind of enjoyed making this shorter, simpler, and hopefully helping video. So let me know what you thought. Let me know if this works for you. And yeah, I wish you the best of luck defarbing your guns. Because at the end of the day, you're the only one that is going to be responsible for your impression and how good your guns look. Even though I said this looks horrendous, people are going to bring, oh yeah, there's a photo of this happening. Yeah, okay, cool. I still don't like it. I think it looks fucking horrible. But anyways, that's it. That's the video. Thank you for watching. And yeah, see you later.